It's the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast with Alex Trataros, John Meleka, and Raisi on the beat. Let's go.
Raisi K, the Raisin Man.
What's good, everyone? Alex Trataros here with another Jets episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. And with me, as always, my buddy, my close pal, the man, the plan, the one and only, the one and only, the one and only, John Meleka. And with us, as always, is the Rock, the Foundation himself, video producer Greg. We're all in the house after watching a depressing, demoralizing Jets defeat to the Seattle Seahawks, who are led by none other than former New York Jets quarterback Geno Smith. Man, thank God we don't have to play Sam Darnold the following week afterwards. And if we had to lose to him, I would probably be looking over the ledge of a cliff right now, because this something I have anything against Geno. I like Geno when he was on the team. But man, just when you get defeated by a guy that your own team drafted, gave up on, who's now decided to become this good quarterback, while we're looking at Zach Wilson, Mike White, Strevler, we're in a merry-go-round, and the Seahawks they're like, yo, fine, we'll get rid of Russell Wilson. Not a top 10 quarterback, as our guy Greg has been preaching this season. That not top 10 guy decided to come out. And then they take Geno Smith, this man who's been on numerous teams, not only the Jets, the Giants, the Chargers, now the Seahawks. This man has the Seahawks potentially going to the playoffs, 8-8 right now. What a world that we're living in, gentlemen. What a world. And the fact that the New York Jets are now 7-9, and let's be honest, we did predict 7-9. It's like 7 wins, some of us on this pod at the beginning of the season, and we would have said that's improvement. We would have said that's improvement. But things change, as always, as you get into the middle of the season. Expectations start to rise. You start to see a competent team, especially a playoff caliber defense that did not show up today. You know, you start to see gangbuster Breece Hall. You start to see offensive weapons. But at the end of the day, we were held back by the signal caller position yet again.
Yeah.
But you know what? As we can look down on this, there's some bright spots. There are some bright spots to move into next season. But this one stings, guys. This one stings because we were in grasp of being in the playoffs. But now we just continue to extend the drought. Longest active drought of not being in the playoffs. 12 seasons in a row. How are you feeling, guys? John, man, I'm going to start off with you because you were talking about needing to be in the graphic. We got that.
Yeah.
We played meaningful football into January. We got that.
We needed that.
We got that, okay? We got that. But how are you feeling overall, man?
I mean, this sucks. I mean, this is there's no way to sugarcoat this. I mean, right now, this absolutely sucks. We lost 5 straight in a row. We haven't won a game since Thanksgiving, and we're officially in 2023. That's embarrassing. So we're playing meaningful football, but we're not winning football games. I mean, I'm glad that we're in the hunt. We needed to. Like, this would have sucked if we were, tanking all year. Like if we're sitting like the Chicago Bears, for example, that would have sucked, man. If we're just, but at the end of the day, hindsight 2020, right? Now everyone would say, "Oh, I wish we lost all these games to have a better draft pick," right? I mean, I'm happy with just missing the playoffs because we had a chance. I'm just so frustrated you said it was all on the signal caller. Listen, Mike White absolutely sucked today. He sucked. I don't know if it's because of his ribs. I don't know if it's just because he sucks after he has one good game, because like that seems to be the trend as well. So maybe he is just a backup quarterback, which is fine. You know what I mean? He can come up, back up, win a couple games, but then he has to sit back out. You know what I mean? He can't just start winning games and teams will get game plan. It's just not going to work. Maybe that's what it is. But dude, I'm frustrated because it's the same story. Like, you want to blame the offense? Like the fourth time this year that we scored single digits. Everyone was a quarterback. Everyone had a chance. Zach Wilson got single digits. Joe Flacco got single digits. Mike White got single digits. Everybody had single digits. So like, nobody could point to anybody else. And I get that. But on the defensive side, no joke. I think we're counting on, like, to be really conservative about it, 3 straight years. To be like the most conservative, we cannot guard a running back out of the backfield. We cannot guard a quarterback that runs, and we can't guard a tight end. It's like, it's disgusting. Like I'm really starting to get frustrated with this. Like it was a joke at first when I was saying that over and over, and then it was like, oh, maybe he has a point. Like, haha. Like I'm starting to notice that now. It's just incredibly frustrating. Everybody's so excited to get to the quarterback carousel here because you mentioned the Jets are officially out of the playoffs now. The season's over with 1 week left to go. We better start Zach Wilson. Like, give me another Zach Wilson game, and because the QB carousel is going to start. Mike White, if you want to stay as a backup quarterback, we'll talk about it. You know what I mean? If someone wants Zach Wilson, call us. We'll talk about it. You know what I mean? And then we're the QB carousel is going to start. But we're going to be talking about that all off season. Shout out to our video producer Raisi, had a tough game with Ohio State. Where everyone's gonna be talking about CJ Stroud. Everybody's gonna talk about Bryce Young. It has nothing to do with the Jets, but I mean it could technically. But everyone's gonna be talking about the college quarterbacks, Richardson, Levis. We'll get into all of it as it goes on. But dude, this is, for me, it's more about the defense. You want to blame the fact that we don't have a quarterback, the fact that all of our offensive linemen are hurt, the fact that we're on our 5th string running back, the fact that Corey Davis can't catch until it's garbage time, like, you know what I mean, like that, whatever. But we have a defensive, and we have a Lafleur, young guy, first year offensive coordinator. Okay, but do we have a defensive head coach? And besides the actual physical stars, the defense sucks. We don't tackle. We don't, dude. Quincy Williams, I don't know what to do anymore. I don't know what to do. It's embarrassing watching him. CJ Mosley today was incredibly bad. So like, if Quinnen Williams doesn't play at an All-Pro level, if Sauce Gardner doesn't become Darrelle Revis, and if DJ Reed doesn't play like Richard Sherman, we don't have a chance. Like, it's crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy, John, and I agree with you. I mean, there's a lot of people online talking about it, a lot of people talking about the offense, but the defense needs to figure something out to just be more well-rounded. We need to have a more well-rounded defense. To your point, it's just star-studded plays from star-studded players, and then there's a lot of nothing else, a lot of bad plays from other people. I mean, Joyner was obviously hurt today. But dude, again,
what is he not hurt, Greg? What is he not hurt?
Every freaking and today he got hurt just running. He was running on a play, and he was 10 yards behind the guy, and yeah, he was hurt. So
it's over.
We have to figure out the linebackers. We have to figure out safeties. We have to figure out other defensive pieces. But to your point, that's all the offseason stuff. Right now, it's talking about the Seattle game. Right now, it's talking about how Geno Smith has started 2 games. This is the graphic that blew my mind today. Started 2 games in between his time as a Jets quarterback and a Seahawks quarterback. And in that time, in passing percentage and QBR or something like that, he went from the worst in the NFL and 31st in the NFL on the Jets to the second best and the best in the NFL this season with Seattle. I mean, to talk about, that's the biggest 180 you could possibly have, to go from first to the best, or from the worst to the best, and he only started 2 games. He filled in a couple spots. He played a couple games for a couple teams, like you guys said. But it's not like he went to the Giants or he went to the Chargers. He went to these other teams and started for 5 years. and then he went to Seattle and figured it out. Like what? Like where is this coming from? Sam Darnold today was throwing lasers all over the field in Carolina.
My boy Sam Darnold.
Oh,
honestly.
he screwed it up at the end. So it was
I know,
vintage, just vintage Sam Darnold at the end.
That's my boy Sam Darnold. Like, that's him, bro. That's
Yeah.
him, yo. He throws the zips. I'm like, yo, he's got it. And then he throws the picks, man. But like, at least he's got us there.
It's
Like,
true. It's true.
Somebody, you talk about people online. Someone was mentioning what's worse. What's a worse regular season loss? The Rex Ryan Bowl when the Jets went to Buffalo. or this game. This game was way worse, dude. If I went to Seattle and we put up 6 points, oh my god, 17-3 in the first quarter. Like, forget the half. Let's just start off the game 17-3. It was like it was done so early. Yo, this was a bad loss. The Jets don't deserve the playoffs, which honestly is nice to have that closure. Like, there's some closure at the end of this season. There's a lot of what ifs during the season. Like if Berrios could maybe catch that touchdown, maybe if Corey Davis doesn't drop a couple key plays.
He sucks. That's another guy that I don't talk about enough. I come on here, I talk about CJ Mosley week in, week out. Corey Davis is one of the OG guys that I complained about for, 4th overall pick, 5th overall picks, never lived up to the hype. Gotta put that on a t-shirt. Dude, he sucks. You're never watching a Jets game and be like, Corey Davis is going off this game. It never happens. It's never happened. It's never happened when he was a Titan. It's never happened when he was a Jet.
No, he's a Titan. It would.
He had
a Titan. It would with AJ Brown.
He had a
one
few
good
games. He had a few
season.
games as a
He had
Jets where he
one
had some
good
nice, solid games.
Yeah, he had solid games, but he's never like, oh my god, you see what Corey Davis did? He's good. He's a good wide receiver. He's a 5th overall pick, Alex. Like Josh Allen was what, 10th pick, 11th pick? Like
Yeah, but he was never.
He
He shouldn't be a number 1 wide receiver. That's what we see, man. He's not a number 1. He's not a number 1 wide receiver. He's got a big body, too many drops. Like that's.
Do you think
always
Garrett
been his
Wilson?
thing.
Do you think Garrett Wilson could be a number 1 wide receiver in this league?
Yeah, he's more of a number 1 wide receiver.
Dude, that
than
drop
Corey Davis.
killed me today. That drop killed. I know it was a little far in the head. I get it, but dude, I just expected if you were talking, shout out to Garrett Wilson. Right, this is I guess the recap of Seattle. We're getting off the rails because it's just miserable. But this is the recap for Jet Seattle. Garrett Wilson, rookie, over 1,000 yards.
Yep.
I mean, unbelievable. Like with these quarterbacks, you know what I'm saying? Like this should be an asterisk.
We're talking about DeAndre Hopkins level where you can play with any quarterback and still get over 1,000 yards. That's impressive.
And the fact that you just said the words DeAndre Hopkins next to Garrett Wilson is unbelievable. Like that.
But that is the level that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like D Hop had terrible quarterbacks, and still got over 1,000 yards. And yes, he had Deshaun Watson, but still, he still had bad quarterbacks where you're like, whoa, like this is impressive. This is quite the resume to have. And that's the same thing for Garrett Wilson. Once you find an actual signal caller for this guy, an actual quarterback, someone who can consistently keep the offense in games, that's the thing. Now, we talked about the defense letting us down. They're still good when it comes to not allowing the most points, right? The stats haven't been updated today, but they're the 7th best team right now when it comes to not allowing points. So at the end of the day, I don't care if you're giving up, you can't guard a tight end and all this other type of nonsense. If you're keeping your team in games, that's fine. We're talking about complementary,
bro. We can't make a tackle.
My man, we're still holding teams. The other side of the ball put up 6 points. Like, how are we going to look at this and say it's like, I get the defense can only do so much. Complementary football goes both ways. It's not only like everyone on the same side of the field playing together, but it's also like your offense. You talk about special teams. Like, you can't have 2 interceptions today. You can't have not a non-existent running game. You can't have poor offensive play calling. So the offense, and this is where everyone's getting to right now. I'm going to ask you guys, Mike Lafleur, what are we doing with this? Because everyone's looking at the quarterback, but he had the reins in on Zach Wilson. Today you only have 6 points when you got Mike White back. Are we talking about Mike Lafleur and we're saying there's got to be a change here? Or are we doing that? What are your thoughts? Greg, I'm going to start with you.
I don't think so. I don't think we need to move on from Mike Lafleur. I think a big problem that the Jets have is just moving on too quickly or too slowly from people. So I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword. But sometimes, like, even Zach Wilson, I don't know if it's crazy to say, I'm not ready to just be like throw
You're
him to the
bugging.
Wolves, get rid of him. He's
You're
terrible.
bugging.
I think he could be a
But
backup
also,
for
was he
us.
bad today? Was
I
he
think-
bad today?
Who?
LaFleur, like I don't understand. I watched the whole game, like with you guys, presumably. Like I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything that Mike Lafleur did bad. I saw that offensive line was stuff. I thought Mike White threw behind on every single play, but I didn't think he did bad.
Yeah, like early in the season, there was stuff where I was like, dude, we're doing way too many trick plays.
Yeah.
And like shit like that was driving me nuts with Mike LaFleur. I don't feel the need to move on from Mike LaFleur. Again, it's his second year. He's figuring it out. I get that a more veteran offensive coordinator might be able to sit down and be like, all right, Zach Wilson is severely limited. Let's change up the playbook here, and here. But like even like with Justin Fields this season, it took Justin Fields, the Chicago Bear OC, new coach. They're new to there, but they're not new OCs. They're not new. I mean, I guess it's a new head coach, but he was a DC over in the Colts or whatever. It took them 4 or 5 months to figure out that Justin Fields could run the freaking football, and he ran for like 160 yards today. Like it takes time for these guys who are veteran people, veteran coordinators, veteran coaches to figure out stuff. This guy's in his second year, so to John's point, I didn't see anything the last few weeks, the last few months that I'm like, we don't have anyone open. We have guys open. Guys are making plays. It's just the ball's not being. They can't throw the ball to him because the quarterback stinks. Whether it's Streveler, whether it's Mike White, whether it's Zach Wilson.
What do you think, John?
Dude, I agree. I don't think that Michael Ford did anything wrong today. I think we just had a tough season, dude. These three quarterbacks suck. Like, it is what it is. The wide receivers are dropping balls everywhere. Our punter's absolute trash. Like, I know that has nothing to do with it. Everybody stinks, dude. We can't tackle. We can't punt. All we could do is kick field goals. Like, that's like it's been the best part of our entire team. We kick field goals. We could dominate. We could pass rush with 4 players. I know we're trying to stick to LaFleur here. I just don't think it was his fault at all. I'm watching the offense. Mike White's throwing behind. I wish we got Streveler in to play Taysom Hill role today. Taysom Hill's been rolling the last like 3-4 games for the Saints. Saints have no offense. They just keep running it with Taysom Hill. He's getting like 4 yards a clip, and he's scoring touchdowns. I wish we just did that. Mike Streveler came in, and he did that for 1 game. I wish we just did that.
Go back to like the Tebow experiment that should have worked.
but that's different because he in his brain thought he was a quarterback. The Jets thought he was a tight end. It was like a whole thing. Like Streveler knows that he's just gonna be Taysom Hill. You know what I mean? Like
Streveler wasn't winning national championships year after year in college, being like, all right, well, I'm gonna go into the NFL and dominate. I think Streveler kind of knows where he lands on the quarterbacks.
I don't think LaFleur's a problem, and I'm going to even add to that. I think he's going to play a big part in us getting one of the Green Bay quarterbacks for next season.
Okay.
I really do.
Okay. I agree with you guys. I don't think the offense is that bad. You know, everyone's coming out for the head coach and the staff today. Yeah, Brandon Tierney of CBS and the Fan today of saying, and I quote his tweet, in a must-have game, the Jets have come out with the urgency of a 2-13 team. When that happens, I look directly towards the head coach and staff. Unacceptable. Now, for me, seeing that, if I need my head coach on a consistent basis or not even on a consistent basis, let me pull that back. If I need my head coach to light a fire in the beginning of the game, before every game, I should say, under a player's ass to get them fired up in a must-win situation, I'm looking at the players first before I'm looking at the head coach. Because if the players don't have that sense of urgency, that's on them. Okay? You can do all the motivational speaking you want. You can rah-rah these guys. You can yell at them all they want. At the end of the day, the players have to want it and execute too. So seeing stuff like that, I think Robert Saleh has earned the chance to have another season with his coaching staff to see what they can do. This team came in with no expectations, okay? None. The fact that we were even playing meaningful football that we haven't seen now since Todd Bowles with Fitzmagic, that is building on something, right? We're talking about a rebuild with these coaches. It was supposed to be an evaluation year for Zach Wilson to see what do we have. Instead, expectations changed. We said, oh, we're close to making the playoffs. Of course, you're going to fight to try to make the playoffs. However, a big key component of that is there's an issue with the quarterback situation. I've never seen a team who's rotated through four. You show me a team that can rotate through 4 quarterbacks in one season and make the playoffs, and you could be confident that they're going to do some damage in the playoffs. That's news to me. I'd love to see it.
It doesn't happen, Alex. To your point, I think they had a graphic. I don't know if it was on Red Zone last weekend or if it was on the Jets game, but they had a graphic. It was teams that have had 3 or more quarterbacks over the last 10 years or 15 years, something like that. They're all terrible teams. You know it. You know it just in your gut, talking right there. We know it as fans. You know, it's the Texans. It's the Browns. It's the Jets. It's teams that don't have it. You need to have, to your point, 1 signal caller all season, maybe 2 due to injury. But once you start getting into 3 or 4 territory, you're never going to be playing winning full football. There's no 4-string quarterback that comes in and just starts lighting it up. Brock Purdy's doing okay in San Francisco because they have a Super Bowl caliber team, and again, he's the 3rd quarterback. We were in a tough spot.
Yeah, it's a tough spot. I give this coaching staff another, because you're starting to see the whole thing of like, oh, well, should they go out and get Sean Payton? Should they go out and get this guy? And it's like, can we stop?
Sean Payton costs a draft pick, bro. It costs a draft pick.
This is the thing where I start to look at, like, this is where I start to have issues, is that as soon as we get a taste of like success off of a rebuild, it's like, all right, now we got to accelerate this thing and get there next season. And it's like, all right, so now you're going to a head coach who has already won, who retired, and now you want to draw him out of retirement, and hopefully he has the juice and the hunger to say, I really want to win again. It just sounds terrible to me when you say it out loud.
To your point,
as Knicks fans, if you're a Knicks fan listening to this, you know where we tried that? The guy's name is Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
We legitimately tried that in another sport, and it didn't even work. Just let these guys cook, man. Go out.
We try it all the time.
Go out. Yeah, we try it all the time. Go out. Go find the weapons. Let them build on what they have right now. We're in year 2 of a rebuild. It's getting a little funny out here, man. Stuff's getting a little funny out here. And you guys could chime in and let me know, John, like, do you think, like, are you in agreement with me? Like, do we just gotta let these guys cook? Like, what's going on over here?
Listen, man, the staff is young. Like you can't blame the chef if he's literally using scraps, right? Like the Jets had to make something. They couldn't put out crap this year, and they did. They did put out a competent product. We were projected 5.5 games. We only beat that by 1.5 games. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't that much.
You banged the over, you got it.
Yeah, like
week 9 we're doing victory laps, but boy, that did not tick up the rest of the season.
Exactly. So, like, yeah, it was great. They did amazing with what they have. But at the end of the day, December football, meaningful football, playoff football. Today was playoff game. It was a legit playoff game. It was loud. It was a must win. Everybody knows it. We were as healthy as we're ever going to be this season, and we failed. So today was fine. I felt like we lost a playoff game today. Like right now, as soon as that game, I felt as soon as it ended, it felt like a playoff game. Season's over. I'm thinking about the draft. I'm ready for the 13th pick. Like I'm ready. I made the cuts. I made like easy cuts already. Like I got a $65 million in cap already. Like with that easy. Easy. So like without even trying. So like I can move that up to 75, 80 if I really want to try it. I'm telling you right now, 65 easy. Like I don't think we're gonna see Carl Lawson again as a Jet. I don't think we're gonna see Corey Davis as a Jet. So I've moved on, and all these guys, yes, they were Joe Douglas guys, but they weren't Salah guys. And they weren't LaFleur guys. So before we start moving on, before we start firing our head coach, before we start firing our offensive coordinator, we gotta at least give them a chance. It's not just one and done. Like they drafted Zach Wilson. Okay, I get it. They failed, right? And they gave up Sam Darnold. They're dumb. They should have just listened to Nick Jets, etc. But what are you gonna do? I know they should have kept them both. Now we're dealing with Zach Wilson and Mike White. We could have had
My man,
Zach Wilson and Sam
remember,
Darnold.
remember the battle? Do you remember? You know what's funny? It's funny that we were like, nah, man, keep Sam Darnold. Keep Sam Darnold. Don't get Zach Wilson. And
Or
we
let him
actually,
sit. Remember, let him sit conversation? How crazy you were for saying that?
And remember how we're like, people were like, what are you talking about? Like, you go for Zach Wilson, you go get the Mormon Mahomes.
And then you have to start him because he's the number 2 pick. You have to start him right away. I mean,
Good
we ended
grief.
up being foolish. We ended up being foolish there. I don't think it's one and done for them. I don't think that's fair. Listen, if we have a veteran quarterback and this happens, it's over.
Ooh, that's over.
If we don't go through 5 right tackles and a couple left tackles and
Hey,
a
man, that's the other
fair
thing.
treat with the guards, like we have a doctor playing right guard today because Herbig was a surprise inactive. And Herbig is a backup himself. You know what I mean? So it's kind of wild. You know what I mean? Dwayne Brown the Jets gave him like the Iron Man award and like they didn't want to specify, but like they kept alluding to like you don't know what he's going through. You don't know what he's going through. Like, okay, I don't know what he's going through, but like, do you know what I'm going through watching this team because of Dwayne Brown? Like, I know I'm being insensitive. I told you guys he was a warrior. I think it was the Vikings game. When he knew there was no tackles left, bro, he was holding everything. He was like literally holding his limbs together, and he like wanted to be on the ground so bad, but we didn't want to give him a timeout on the drive, and he like kept putting himself together, and he kept doing well. I was like, I don't know how this guy like can't move in between plays, and all of a sudden like turns it on for like 6 seconds. So like he's the man, I get it, but what do you want them to do? What do you want Lafleur to do? What the hell do you want Lafleur to do with Mike White? He keeps throwing 8 feet behind the guy. What do you want him to do?
Today was a bad day for everybody.
And then when he has Zach Wilson, the other teams are stacking the box. So what do you want to do? So he's trying to make plays, make shifty things happen with Zach Wilson. The guy can't hit a 2-yard out. So the other team just stays back and just waits. Just he hands them lobs. Like, what do you want LaFleur to do, man? Like, and then they get pissed. Like, dude, the guy won't set his feet. It's all about the lower body. I've never heard. I want to honestly say, and now that the season's over, I have never heard publicly a quarterback coach, OC, a head coach be like, yo, the quarterback is fine. His arm is fine. He's okay. It's just his lower half that we have to fix. So what the hell does that mean? Like, he can't set his feet? The guy, like, that's it?
Isn't that what you're saying? Isn't that?
I don't understand. That to me boggles my brain. Like, that's like you telling me, like, in basketball, like, dude, the guy keeps like traveling. Like, what are you talking about? Like, in the NBA, like, just set your feet, bro. You're a quarterback. Set your damn feet and throw it. Like,
that's the crazy thing, man.
It drove me nuts that they just kept saying that. It's his lower half that we need to fix. Okay. Like, that means, like, I don't even get it.
That right there tells you if you are coming out of college and you can't even do the basic thing of setting your feet. Even Mark Sanchez set his feet, man. Like, you'd have happy feet.
Well, that's how Mark Sanchez stays in the league. That's how Chad Pennington stays in the league.
Geno
If Chad
Smith.
Pennington for one day did that crap, I know he would never come back. If Sanchez did that crap, Rex Ryan would choke him. I feel like choke him.
This is what I'm saying, man. But I'm glad that you brought up, a depleted offensive line. You actually brought up, you mentioned Joe Douglas. And now we got Connor Hughes coming out. And sorry that we're going this way. We're not going to recap. This is not recapping the game. All right.
Recapping the season.
Let me tell you. You want to recap this game? It stunk. All right. We lost. We didn't
scored
really
6
score.
points.
All right. There's if you watch
we need
this
a
game,
safety. We need a safety.
There's
we need
nothing.
a linebacker.
There's nothing that needs to be recapped about this game. The season we're not in the playoffs.
Braden Mann needs to be recapped.
We are.
What do you think about Braden Mann, Alex? If you even give me one side that we're talking about punters, I'm gonna fight you. I'm gonna fight you because, dude, a 24-yard punt that wasn't touched, kill me. Just kill me, bro.
Hold on, before we get to Brandon Mann, that can be the last thing.
24 yards.
He's the last guy that's about to get
untouched punt.
He's the last guy that's about to catch to get aired out today, but. Connor Hughes decided to tweet out something and 2 things, and I really gotta get through this because
shout out to Connor, friend of the show. Love Connor's work.
Nice guy.
But so this I can't. This is going to levels I don't know, man. I'm gonna read it to you guys. It's 2 tweets. First tweet, I believe the Jets have the right coaching staff in place. I do believe that.
Agreed.
Offense, defense, special teams, and up top. The managerial decisions to overlook obvious problem areas, QB, offensive line, in roster construction, sunk. I understand the Jets are a young team. This is the second tweet. I understand the Jets are a young team and have exceeded preseason expectations. But in-season expectations change when you start 6-3.
I agree.
Going 1-6 over your next 7 games is not good enough. It's not. Zero reason this team shouldn't be in playoffs. Now, back-to-back of these tweets, sounds like he's coming for Joe Douglas, in my opinion.
I actually agree with every single thing he said, besides the fact that he didn't invest in the offensive line. Actually, that's my biggest problem with Joe Douglas. You kept alluding to it. You were early on it. I'm going to give you your props for it. You were early on it with his weird signings. Dude, it's now Ryan Kalil. It's I forgot who we got last year, but
the guy off the this year I thought you were going to talk the guy off the Seattle or the Broncos.
Don't talk about Ryan
squad.
Griffin. Do not talk about Ryan Griffin the first time.
No, Ryan Griffin. Who's the other offensive lineman? It's slipping my mind right now. Obviously, we have Laken Tomlinson. That's been tough. But there was somebody else. There was a third veteran offensive lineman that we got that was also
GVR. We could talk about
the
Brad
guy
Van
from
Roten.
Carolina that was going to retire.
Yeah, that's Kalil. That's
Oh,
Kalil.
okay.
We paid him $8 million to literally do nothing. Like that's like, and then we got Tomlinson. So like we are investing, right? We did draft back then. We did draft Max Mitchell, who has blood clots and might die. We have Clark,
AVT.
who's medical out. He's never going to play again as well. I mean, we got AVT. We traded up for we traded twice for AVT. Right? We traded to get that pick and to trade up. So. That to me doesn't make we paid the center. We're gonna have to pay the center again. So I don't agree with the fact that we're not trying. We paid Dwayne Brown.
I feel
You know what
like,
I mean? Like that's crazy. What are
I
we
feel like
talking
there's
about?
a
All we do is we pay.
My thing is like when I read that, I was like,
the
first of all,
season's done. I think we might have signed the most offensive linemen over the last like 2 or 3 years. It might be something we have to look into. We've signed so many offensive linemen.
They just suck.
the thing is, like we actually, and here's the thing is that we didn't invest enough in the offensive line. We didn't expect we would be going down to our 3rd and 4th string line offensive lineman. Can we keep it a buck? Like
the fifth sometimes.
like, come on now. Like he did invest. Unfortunately, it was like a domino effect that came to the offensive line. So I don't agree with that. I think questioning Joe Douglas, that's tough considering he put together this team.
Yo,
Like
I would
that,
never
Jets
do
are
it.
the Jets are number 3 in the league in 2022 in offensive line.
right.
18.17%. We have 38 million cap on offensive line alone.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? They just stink. Like, there's one thing to say he was bad at it, because that I agree with. And Alex was on that early. I was like, nah, it's all right. He just tried with Kalil, whatever. Yeah, whatever. He's just trying with Tomlinson, it's his friend. I'm sick of his friends. Like, I'm done with Joe Douglas's friends. Like Dwayne Brown, he's cool. George Fant, all of his friends, I'm done. All your friends stink. They're old now. That's it. If you're friends with them, I
Joe
don't want them on
Flacco.
the team
See you,
anymore.
Joe Flacco.
Everybody who you're friends with, like, it's over, bro. No more of your friends starting. He spends $40 million. $40 million on what? We have the worst offensive line. What are we
But the
talking
thing
about?
is, dude, the thing is, like, the thought was fine. It comes back to, did you think everyone was going to get injured? Like, my thing is that, like, we can question some of the signings from Joe Douglas. We can question some of the draft picks, too. But at the same time, this team did perform. They finally divisional opponents. They're 7-9. It's not some horrendous record. If they beat
Let's talk
the
about
Dolphins,
accomplishments. Let's talk about some accomplishments this season.
It's
That's
not-
a good one. We got some division wins.
we're 7-9. We're
Possibly
finally
go 500 against a division if we win next week.
We,
Sure.
look, we got some talented players on both sides of the ball. The only issue is a quarterback. Honestly, if the offensive line stays healthy, we're not talking about this.
We also have the offensive rookie of the year, two offensive rookie of the years, at least one defensive rookie of the year,
Bro,
maybe the best
week-
defensive tackle in the league.
Every week we're winning the Pepsi rookie belt.
I hate this shit about now. That
But
belt.
I'm just saying. But
It
I'm
used
just
to be
saying,
fun, but because we haven't won in a month and a half, I hate that dumb belt. Get it out of my face.
But I'm just saying. You think of the talent that this team now has, and some of the sly moves that he did to get some of these guys through the maneuvers and stuff like that. I'm not giving Joe Douglas an A, but as of right now, he has a B.
Overall.
As up to this point, yeah, I'm giving a B overall.
Oh yeah, I'll give him a B minus, and that's mostly related to this last draft. Like honestly, having ABT, Gardner, signing DJ Reed, like that stuff really has taken us to the next level. Like Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. That's the 2 tight ends that he signed for cheap, even though we have a lot of money on our tight ends now. Like those are huge moves. Elijah Moore, even, like, that was a big one. Like that. Also, Max Mitchell was really good, guys.
Yeah.
Like if Max Mitchell was our right tackle, we would be in a lot better shape. If Mekhi Becton was healthy, we would be in much better shape.
Look, man, if we had
I am
ABT,
upset that we
this
didn't
line-
draft Creed Humphrey. I like that's one that really stings. Like we could have had Creed Humphrey. We were talking about it. They want to tell us our center is perfect. Creed Humphrey is the best center in the league this year now.
Sauce Gardner.
That's what bothers me.
Sauce Gardner is amazing.
That was a great pick by him. I was skeptical. I was skeptical as hell. That was a great pick.
How about DJ Reed as a free agent offseason signing?
Amazing,
excellent,
amazing.
That's why I gotta get I get the criticism on Joe Douglas, but when from what we've seen, man, like I look at what I had to think back of like who Geno Smith had. He had Stephen Hill,
dude.
You know what I mean? Like we were watching Stephen Hill. We were watching Curse with Sam Darnold. You know what I mean? Our best wide receiver was Robbie Anderson. Like think how far we've come over the last 3 seasons. We were upset that Joe Douglas didn't keep Robbie Anderson for Sam Darnold. Now we're just a competent QB away from being in the playoffs consistently.
Yeah, and to be honest, we were never going to win this game. Forget today. In general, before the season, during the season, we were never going to fly into the West Coast and beat Seattle in Seattle. It just was never. It doesn't matter who the quarterback is. Like it doesn't matter. Drew Lock could have been the quarterback. We were still never. We can't win that game.
I will not subscribe to that. I'm not gonna say Young Jeezy's gonna come out there and be throwing.
Alex, I want to tell you. Alex, I got to tell you something.
Stop.
You know the last time the Jets beat the Seattle Seahawks? Jerry Rice caught his last touchdown. That's the last time the Jets beat the Seattle Seahawks. Jerry Rice. I was there. I was at that game.
In Seattle or just in general?
In general. That was here. I was at that game.
Tough.
Jerry Rice. That was the last time the Jets beat the Seattle Seahawks. So, like, there's just some things that we're not going to do. Like, we're not going to go into Seattle now and win the game. We're not going to beat Philadelphia Eagles next season. It's just there's certain things that are just
I know. We're never going to beat the Eagles.
We're playing them next season. Like
I know.
It's an L. Just like there's some things we're not going to do. So, like, this really the season was lost. I mean, it was hard-fought games, Buffalo and the Vikings, where the season was lost in Detroit and Jacksonville.
Yeah. Those are games that we circled in August, in July, in June, and we're like, win. Back half of the season. Think about that. Before the season, back half of the season is easy. We just have to make it through the first half. We just have to make it through the first half.
I'm sorry, Greg. Sorry to cut you off. So, John, so you're saying since 2004 we haven't beat? Good Lord, man.
It's been a while.
Go ahead,
it's been a while. No, it's just think about just how crazy, like to Connor Hughes' point, to Alex's point earlier, mid-season's expectations change, mid-season football changes, teams change, things change from last season. We thought Jacksonville, Detroit, these games in the middle part of the season, okay, win. We can rattle off 4 or 5 wins at the end of the season, make the playoffs. We were in the driver's seat. We were 6-3. We were the 3rd best team in the AFC in power rankings and standings. And it was just a slow, methodical death of people figuring out Zach Wilson and then people figuring out Mike White. Like, I don't know what it is about Mike White. To your point, John, he's throwing it way behind people, so I don't know if he just hurt, or I don't know if it takes 2 or 3 weeks for the NFL to figure out Mike White, like it seems to happen every season. And then after 2 weeks, it's like, oh, yeah, this is what you have to do against Mike White to make him a 5th-round quarterback again, because he comes in, he gets a good bump in his first game, he plays okay in his second game, and then it just falls off. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's a him thing. I don't know if it's an us thing. I don't know if it's a them thing.
He's not
But
him,
just,
Greg.
Just seems
He's
to
definitely
keep
not
happening.
him, bro.
Yeah. So
he's
yeah,
not him. He's my second QB. Him. He could be my QB2 all day. Mike White. Listen, man. You have what does Portnoy say on Barstool? You have a lifetime.
lifetime
Mike White, you have a
contract.
lifetime year-to-year contract
Yeah.
with the Jets as the QB2. Every single year, if you're healthy, I'll give you $5 million every single year. Take it, dude. But you cannot be our QB1. But let me ask you guys this: two quick questions here. We have a preview coming up, but before things are announced, let me ask you two questions, and I think they go hand in hand. To be honest with you. One, who do you guys want to see starting at QB next week? Do you want to see Mike White with his ribs? Do you want to see old man Flacco? Obviously, I don't, but if you do, you're a weirdo, but let me know. Do you want to see Zach Wilson, maybe Wilson, or you want to see just Trevler, just Taysom Hill it up all game? Just let's have fun. That's the four choices you have. And the part two of the question, which I think goes hand in hand, do we want to beat Miami and help out New England? Or do we want to lose to Miami and send them in there and send Bill going home? And Miami's obviously not going to do anything because Teddy Bridgewater broke his finger, Tua has concussions, Thompson stinks. But you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you guys feel about both? Like, what do you guys want here? Like, now we're in an interesting place. Now we're having fun. You know what I mean? Now a loss is actually better. You know, it looks gross on the record, but, let's just move up a little bit as much as we can in the standings. But Alex is giving me a face. Yeah. Alex, what do you think, man?
It's a nasty decision you put out there. Good Lord. That's
on my Christmas, bro. Tell me about it. I thought this was going to be a prime time game. I was excited. This is a disgusting game.
That smells worse than sulfur right now. I don't even know why you're putting that out there. To answer the first question, I would like to see Mike White. I think he deserves to get another game and see what you got back there. Just so you could just answer the question like going into next season, like, all right, either we're having an open QB competition, whoever we bring in, or the guy who we bring in is that guy. I think you need to just get that solved, call it a day, let him get one more game. I think he's earned it because Zach Wilson has lost it. Don't need to see Flacco, man. Just
yeah. But he's on the roster. He was dressed today. I had to bring it up.
Hey,
he's technically our QB too.
And Strebler.
And you done with Zach? Do you believe the report? I mean, I know I'll get to your second. I'll get to part two. But do you believe that report?
What's the report?
That Zach Wilson's staying on this team. That he's definitely going to be on the team next year, and we're like looking into it. Or does it sound like a Knicks thing? Like, yeah, he's part of the rotation. We're just trying to trade him,
man. If they're
to Cam Hive him,
yeah, he's basically
Cam Reddish, the guy.
No, he's not a Cam
Reddish right
now.
He's
not Cam. Cam Reddish has much more love from players
like
around.
Okay,
yeah.
Give me an equivalent, Alex. Give me an equivalent. This is Knicks, Jets, etc.
Let's get something straight. Cam Reddish has a lot of love from players around the league. I don't think Zach Wilson has a lot of love from players around the league, let alone in his own locker room. The other thing, too, is that Cam is known for this crazy, massive upside, and you've actually seen in some games where it's like, all right, maybe
I have the perfect solution. Tell me what it is. Tell me what's your. I have the perfect comp. What's yours?
Perfect comp for Zach Wilson?
Yeah, I got the perfect one.
You ready?
Yeah.
Anthony Bennett.
Oh man, that's a tough one.
That's our core.
I was thinking about a Nick.
The next LeBron James, Anthony Bennett.
I'm gonna go with Alfred Payton. He's very Alfred Payton-y, bro. Every game he's starting, he's gonna get it next time. We got it, and then he just stinks every single game. He does like one good thing. We're like, oh look, that play though, that one play.
Terrible attitude on the bench. Terrible optics.
That's how do you feel, Greg? Who do you want to start? And we didn't get to the second part. We'll give me
I'll give it to you quick.
Alex, let me
Strebler, Joe Flacco. Give me Strebler, QB1, Joe Flacco 2. Mike White is clearly hurt. I don't want to hurt him more.
Are you playing to win or are you playing for a spot? Do you care about Miami or you care about New England?
We have to go out there and try to compete and win.
You want to win?
We're too young. We're too young of a team to like sit people. Like I want Garrett Wilson to go out there and have a good game.
Dude, if someone gets hurt,
go out there and have a good game.
Someone gets hurt, I'm going to implode.
Well,
Actually,
that's
like, physically implode.
well. I mean, then I don't know. I don't know if we're starting people or not. Then, but that's part of the reason why I don't want Zach Wilson out there because you just tank his trade value if he gets hurt. And then Mike White's clearly hurt.
He's a free agent anyway.
Yeah.
Mike White. So it doesn't
All right.
really matter that much. Okay. I just really don't want New England to make the playoffs.
Save
They
save
score a
the guys.
touchdown on defense every single game. They can
Every
win playoff
week.
games. I don't want them in the playoffs. I don't want to see it.
They
Please.
won't. The Bills will take care of business.
Yeah, I don't want to see. I mean, honestly, I hate all those teams. I don't really. It hurts either way. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. Either decision I make. I don't want to make that decision. I'm not going to make that decision. Just go out there and compete, as Greg said. But to answer to your Zach Wilson question, like the reports and whatnot, what do you want them to say? Like, oh yeah, we're out of him. Like then plummet the trade value. It's kind of like for Cam Reddish, right? They're not playing him. Like what I've said is that they're not playing Cam because they don't want to ruin his trade value. They don't want him to get hurt. And we already know at this point that he's on the block. But for Wilson, if the Jets just said, yeah, he's on the block right now, you just tank his value. If you play him out there and he stinks, you're continuously tanking his value. At this point, the best thing to do is to keep him off the field. Say that, yeah, we're gonna keep him around here. We think we still got faith in him. We're gonna work with him. It's just not the season for him. His confidence is shattered. You saw that. Those reports are just more PR than they are anything else, just strategy wise.
What do you think about, speaking of PR? Like, there's a lot of people online or whatever talk about his family and say, like, his family saying online, whether it's on Instagram or Twitter, that like
I saw his mom's response.
Yeah, the Jets fan base so toxic. No one can
Geno
thrive
said
there.
that too.
He can
Geno
never
said
thrive
that too,
there.
by the way.
Geno said that too. So what do you guys
And
say
so
to
did
that?
Sanchez.
Yeah. So
Look, man.
all right. So quarterbacks have said that in the past, but like
But they suck.
Sauce Gardner's thriving completely fine. Sauce
I'm saying the
Gardner.
quarterbacks suck.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
saying
what I'm
the
saying.
quarterback. No, they suck. Like all those guys that we just named, including Geno Smith, sucks. I don't care.
To
He
me, it's
sucks.
just a self-awareness
gonna go
of
that
zero.
far.
It's like if you're good, you can
Geno's
thrive.
balling right now. We can't say that. Geno's thriving somewhere else. But the
Look
thing
at
is,
10
like,
years.
Geno Smith's on a contract year. If they re-sign him, I would love that. If Seattle re-sign him, go ahead. Daniel Jones also, please resign. The Giants, he's amazing. Resign him. Extend. 4 years,
Alex,
baby.
Alex, what do you think though? Are we too toxic of a fan base to have a successful quarterback?
I don't think that. I think every fan base has its toxicity. The thing is, like, we're a big fan base. We're New York, so like we're gonna be louder than
It's
most.
amplified.
Yeah. So the numbers is just different. Like, there's more Jets fans probably than Texans fans. You know what I mean? Like, who's out there rooting for the Texans on a consistent basis? They're not even as old as the New York Jets. So, we can ask about the Panthers. We can ask about all these other teams, how deep their fan base is. We talk about the Jaguars, right? But at the end of the day, if you're in New York and you're not performing, you're going to hear the boos. The boo birds are going to come out. People are going to be attacking you. They want to see performance. At the same time, Zach Wilson is a second overall pick. All right? There is much more pressure on him than other quarterbacks. Like, if we had someone like third round, like a Dak Prescott, right? He comes in here, he's balling. People be like, all right, third overall pick, stinking it up right now. It's a third overall pick. We didn't waste the second overall pick. We're talking about a premium slot in the draft at a premium position. We didn't even see progress, man. And that's the biggest thing, that there was no progress. What could we say in year 2 that we're like, well, you know what? Zach Wilson did that well. And if we give him another offseason, we could say he's going to really flourish.
Yeah.
How did he go from having it's like how did he get a sophomore slump after not even having a good first year?
Yeah, he didn't think there was anywhere to slump to, but he figured it out. He did
He
it.
figured it out, man. I thought you couldn't. I did not think it could get worse than last season. It got worse.
Yeah, to your
over.
point, Alex,
It's
one
over
thing
for
I
Zach.
want to talk about, I think, John, we talked about it last week, but I can't remember if it was on camera or if it was afterwards. But you've talked a few times, Alex, about the second overall pick and that being such a premium. John, you talked about it with Sam Darnold not drafting, how we all talked about not drafting a quarterback there and just keeping our guy. We would have had a second overall pick. Have you guys seen the tweet of the draft class around Zach Wilson? It's incredible. For people at home, after Zach Wilson was Trey Lance, okay, another quarterback, not working out great. After that, Kyle Pitts, Jamar Chase, Jalen Waddle, Penei Sewell, J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain, both 2 top cornerbacks in the league, Devonta Smith, Justin Fields, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Slater. Those are all top-tier guys. Micah Parsons could be a defensive MVP. If we had any of those guys on our team, imagine if we had Jamar Chase on this team right now.
Trade back, keep Sam Darnold. I had
It's
that
crazy.
tattooed on my
You
head.
did.
It's crazy to think about where this team
And I was
would
screaming
be.
about Micah Parsons, by the way. I love Micah Parsons so
Yeah.
much at Penn State. That would have been my guy. That's what I
Yo,
wanted.
Penn State and linebackers, man.
Imagine if we had Kyle Pitts. He's probably the worst one out of all those people on there, but that's because he's on the Falcons with Desmond Ridder and Marcus Mariota. Imagine if we had a stud tight end on this team that could make plays like a wide receiver 1.
To be honest with you, and I feel like I'm the last person to say this. Imagine we had Justin Fields.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
He's
Trevor
not
Lawrence,
amazing.
Justin
He's
Fields.
not amazing, and he's not a Super Bowl quarterback, and he's not an amazing quarterback, but at least he runs. Like, at least he does
Dude,
something very good. You know what I mean? Like,
You could even argue that what weapons has he had out there in Chicago to really flourish too?
I mean, like, he has players. Like, his throws are tough, man. Like, when
He
like,
does
like,
not have players.
Claypool is a real receiver.
He got
He-
that.
he
He,
misses
got him
him. Like,
during
he-
the middle of the season, though.
And he's
I
been
know,
out.
I know, but his throws are. I mean, Cole Kmet was a top pick. Too. Like, I'm just saying he has some guys around, but he also throws Zach Wilson throws. Like, let's keep it
Yeah.
a buck. Like, he has
Sure.
Zach Wilson does, but the difference is he also has 40-yard runs and first downs and scores 6 points.
But the other thing
sometimes.
is-
you know what I mean? Like, we
Well,
don't have that.
But the other thing is that team is trash.
Yeah.
We only have 3 more wins than them, my friend.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, that team
we're
is
both
still-
drafting. We're both watching the playoffs and drafting in the top 20.
It's crazy.
But I think something that you said earlier, John, and then we can wrap it up after this with your Brandon Mann punter extravaganza talk.
Oh God, I see that guy on my team next year. I'm done. If I see
I don't
Brady on my team,
like
I'm done.
anyone who said I don't know. I'm not. I understand the whole thing of like why in a higher position in the draft and whatnot. I don't know, man. Like at this point, we need a quarterback, and we're not too far from a lot.
Okay,
of other
perfect. Let's talk about that real quick then. Derek Carr has to be traded because of his roster bonus before the Super Bowl. It's like 3 days before or after, something like that. Let's just say the Super Bowl. So we have to decide right now. Right? So it's not a later, it's not draft, it's not maybe, it's
I don't
not
want
no, we
Derek
have to
Carr.
trade for him right now. You want Derek Carr?
No.
Did you guys see the trade that was going around? It was
No,
Carr,
what is it?
Carr and Adams for
It's
Wilson.
impossible. Okay, no, Adams can't get traded, so it's nonsense already. Go ahead. then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
Damn.
can. Go ahead. What is it?
Why can't he? Why can't he get traded?
I'll pull it up right now, but go ahead. Tell me.
Carr
what
and
it is.
Adams for Zach Wilson, Elijah Moore, a first-round pick, and a third-round pick.
I mean,
All right.
To me, that's a no-brainer. Yes.
yeah, you do that. You do that
So-
every day.
So if we trade,
It's gonna be like $100 million.
put them on the 32 million in dead cap, and they lose they have to pay him $17 million. They have to write him a check for $17 million, and they lose $31 million cap plus whatever cap they lose for Derek Carr. So basically, they're gonna be poor forever if that happens, and their owner doesn't spend any money. Why would
So
they
that's
get
not
rid of
happening.
Devontae Adams?
But
Yeah.
I wouldn't take Derek Carr.
They're gonna
alone.
get Jimmy G, by the way. Josh McDaniels is gonna sign Jimmy G. And it's going to be Jimmy G and Darren Waller. That's going to be his Gronk. He's going to have Devontae Adams. He's going to have Josh Jacobs. They're going to franchise tag him. And they're going to have a ball over there.
So then, I'm not a big Derek Carr because I feel like Derek Carr is he's been so up and down, man. He's had an
sucks in
up
the
and down
cold.
career. He's an up and down player though. Like he hasn't put He had one really magnificent season, and that
It
was
was last year. And then Greg never let us hear the end
Second
of it.
in passing last year, Alex.
two magnificent seasons.
Yes, he's
the
had
one
a
I'm thinking
couple.
about before that one is Amari Cooper, Michael Crabtree. That year he was balling with Jack Del Rio.
Good old days. Sherman and the chain. Oh, those are the good old days, man.
But I'm not the biggest Derek Carr
Greg,
fan.
what do you think? You trade for your boy?
No, at this point, probably not. He's 31. I don't need to go down the role that the Colts are in absolute hell with right now, where they're just churning over 30-something-year-old quarterbacks every year, and they just can't. It's Carson Wentz, it's Matt Ryan, it's Phil Rivers, it's
Nick Foles.
Nick Foles. I can't do that. No. If I'm trading for someone, or if I'm trying to sign someone, it's a big contract. Might be the biggest contract in NFL history. It's Lamar Jackson, which I know will never happen. John, you won't even let me have it for a week or two.
I won't even have it for a sentence. I won't even have it for a breath. It's not happening. The Ravens are gonna they're gonna make that guy's life hell.
Yeah.
What are we doing, gentlemen? Because
that's what I'm talking about. That's what we're going through. Lamar Jackson. We can say here's our 100% of our cap. We'll play with G League players, and here's 100% of the cap, and the Ravens won't let it happen. They're gonna franchise tag him. So what else? We'll keep going down the list. You don't want Derek Carr. Jimmy G's in Vegas for all intents and purposes.
You go.
Lamar Jackson is stuck in purple and black hell.
You go back to the well and go ask for a second time with Mr. Sam Darnold.
I mean, you're not signing Sam Darnold to be your number one pick. Who else, Keeping? Let's keep it rolling.
Tom Brady? No.
Dude, if Tom Brady doesn't go to San Francisco, I would be in complete shock. I would be more shocked about that than any other Tom Brady news the last 3-4 years.
Baker Mayfield. I'm saying no to that right now.
How does he not stay as a backup in LA?
We're not playing that game. Geno Smith.
How does he not get re-signed in Seattle?
Okay. Got Case Keenum.
Okay,
This list is bad.
Mason Rudolph.
Next.
Jacoby Brissett. Andy Dalton.
I mean, I'll take Brissett if we don't get Mike White to be the QB2. I'll take Brissett. That's as far as I'm going.
Blaine Gabbert.
Dude. Gabbert saved a bunch of people who crashed in a helicopter and he's on some jet skis. You hear about that story?
No.
He could be my QB. He could be my QB2 any day, bro.
Drew Lock.
No, I don't even want to be my. He could be my. QB3.
Here we go.
He can go with the Streveler.
Here's the real winner.
Uh-oh.
You guys ready for this one?
I got one. If you don't got it, I got another one.
Nathan Peterman. I knew Greg was going for that one.
Great. What else? What else we got here?
Cooper Rush. He won 5 games this year. He won 5.
Cooper Rush and Mike White. They can compete somewhere.
Yeah.
Stidham.
Stidham today,
Look
bro.
good.
He's never leaving Oakland. He's in Vegas. He's gonna be Jimmy G and Stidham with McDaniels. That's heaven. That's heaven for McDaniels.
One of my best bets on Winning Picks Weekly. I rolled with the Las Vegas Raiders. Go check it out. Winning P Weekly on Twitter.
McDaniels.
Easy winner.
CJ Beathard.
Yeah. So all right. So here are my 2.
Danny Jones.
Danny Jones is gonna get extended. I can't wait till he gets extended in New York. That's gonna make me so happy. And they're gonna franchise Barkley maybe, or maybe the other way around.
Mason Rudolph. Oh, I said Mason Rudolph already.
Yeah.
Case Keenum.
He said him too. Aaron Rodgers. We could trade for Aaron Rodgers. This would be cap hell for Green Bay.
The other guy.
Or the other guy, Jordan Love. I'm down for either of those two. I actually require
Jordan
both of
Love
those two to be my quarterback.
Give me Jordan Love. Right now.
Who's gonna? I mean, he'd be the cheapest, but who's gonna draft Young and CJ? Houston.
Packers.
No, I mean Houston's gonna be the first pick. They're gonna draft Young, right? So do we like Sims? David Sills? Stanford kid? Oh, we out on him too.
I need to watch film, to be honest with you. I haven't watched enough.
Okay, so what if?
Wait, yeah, I don't like the kid from Stanford as a quarterback. You're saying I was just looking up the draft.
No,
order.
the Houston quarterback, the Houston Texans quarterback, Sills, whatever.
Mills.
Davis Mills. Davis Mills. Davis Mills. Davis Mims. Whatever the hell his name is, bro. The neck guy.
Yeah, he sucks.
Denzel Mims is playing quarterback.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, teams that need a quarterback. Houston needs a quarterback. Seattle probably needs a quarterback. Indianapolis needs a quarterback. Las Vegas needs a quarterback. Carolina needs a quarterback.
Derek Carr feels like he could fit in Indy. What was the last one you just said after
Carolina.
that? Well, Carolina's an interesting beast. I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
Yeah.
That's an interesting team.
But that's five teams that are all ahead of us.
All right, guys.
I got to tell you.
CJ Stroud to Carolina would be sick.
All right.
I was going to say, I liked what I saw from CJ last night. Shout out Raisi, the producer himself.
That was the best game of his career.
He looked good. He was running. He was throwing.
So consensus, Aaron Rodgers. That's what this recap of Jets Seattle. That's how we. That's how we.
Love my man. Love, not Rodgers. Get me the younger quarterback.
Nah, give me Rodgers. If we're trading or if we're doing anything, give me a veteran guy because we're a good team. This defense needs to capitalize. I've lived too many defenses that are top 5 defenses, and we just don't do anything with them.
Going back to the well of taking a seasoned Packers quarterback.
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, man.
Let's do it.
All right. Last topic.
Oh.
John.
Yes.
I'm going to give you the floor.
Uh-oh.
This is your chance to talk about how important the punter position is.
Dude.
And how much you love Brandon Mann.
Here's the floor. If Braden Mann is on this team next year, I quit being a Jets fan. I quit.
Wow.
We save $1 million. I'm gonna. Somebody's giving the Jets $1 million to cut Braden Mann. Imagine. That's amazing. That is what dreams are made of. $1 million to $15 million to cut Lawson. $10 million to cut Corey Davis. Free money. There's free money being handed to us. If Braden Mann is back on the New York Jets next year, it's over for me. Now, on the other side, if we get Tory Taylor, the pundit from Iowa, I no joke, I'm buying the jersey. No joke, I'm buying a Tory Taylor jersey. That's any Iowa player that gets drafted. If it's Campbell, if it's Jack Campbell, the linebacker,
defensive player, any Iowa defensive player,
the Jack Campbell, the linebacker,
yeah.
dude, his grandfather went to the Nashville Music City Bowl for the Iowa-Kentucky game, got hit by the hotel truck thing that morning, died, and Jack Campbell had the game of his life in that game. I can't believe he played that game. That's unreal. That guy is the man, bro. I love Jack Campbell. Dude, Jack Campbell could be on my team any single day. Him, Sam Laporta, the tight end, which I know he's going to go to New England and ruin my life forever, but that's neither here nor there. And Tory Taylor. Any of those players come on the Jets, I'm buying their jersey. I'm telling you right now.
You heard it here first. You heard it here first.
I'm going to make the jersey. They're not even going to sell it. I have to make, the custom where they think it's my last name. I'm going to have to be Tory Taylor.
My man's going to make a custom jersey. I'll be more impressed if you actually sew that and stitch that thing yourself. I better see that.
I will. For Tory, if we get Tory Taylor as a punter, you don't understand how different our team would be. Dude, imagine when we have the ball on the 20-yard line, yeah. We give them the ball back on their 20-yard line. Imagine that scenario. Not when we're on the 20-yard line, give it on the 40. It's just a bad throw. That's it.
We're better off just running a Hail Mary.
We're better off just get sacked.
Yeah.
Just get sacked. It's better. I feel
Everyone
better
who hasn't tuned it is not tuning into the YouTube. Yeah, turn into the YouTube and just see John's eyes light up saying, can you imagine talking about Taylor as a punter for the New York Jets? It is like Christmas trees. You just plugged in a Christmas tree. That thing just sparkled.
I'm going to freak out when he gets drafted and it's not to the Jets. I'm going to be it's going to be day 5. I'm gonna be I haven't shaved in days, staring at the everybody that's getting drafted. It's just a ticker on the bottom because it's too fast for them discussing it, and I'm just gonna be waiting for Tory Taylor, man. That's all I'm gonna be thinking about.
All right, well, you heard it here first. January 1st, 2023. We'll see you sometime in April.
Beginning of the new year.
Yeah,
this is a Tory Taylor podcast.
Yeah.
He's another Australian. We could love him just as much as Braden Mann. We can get on the train. Maybe no one will even notice the difference. Except for when he actually punts. It's going to be great.
We'll have to tweet this clip out sometime in April whenever we draft him.
Tory, I'm buying your jersey, bro. Pick a cool number.
On that note, this is a good place to end it. Thank you all for tuning in for another Jets episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. You all know what to do. If you haven't already done so, please make sure to subscribe. We're on all audio listening platforms. We're on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, Stitcher, you name it. We are there. If you listen to us on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to give us a 5-star rating. And if you listen to us on Apple, please make sure to leave a review or comment. We'll read it. We're also partnered with Minute Media and Fan Science, so you can find this podcast on the Jet Press or the Daily Knicks. We also got that YouTube page, Knicks, Jets, ETC, period, no one writes out, etc. That shit's wild. Find the page, subscribe, hit that notification bell. That way you know when a new episode drops. And when you watch a video, hit the like button, leave a comment, add to the conversation. We want to know your thoughts and opinions. Do you guys think we need to go get a new punter? Do you guys think that you got to play
I
the
dare you to
defense
tell
today?
me no. Come
Mike
see me.
LaFleur, is Mike LaFleur the issue? Is Robert Saleh the issue? Is Joe Douglas the issue? Are all three guys the issue? Do you think we should keep all three guys? Let us know what you think. All right, you already heard how we feel on this podcast, but if you want to push us back. Push back at us. Let us know your thoughts. Come on. Get into this.
Do you love Quincy Williams? Is he the answer at linebacker? But P.S. I love Tony. Tony Adams is better than Jordan Whitehead. You heard it here first.
All right.
Cut Jordan Whitehead. Start Tony Adams. He's better. Jordan Whitehead, did he play today? Did Quinton Williams play today? I hate the Jets. I'm so done with the Jets. Draft season it is.
All right. And while you're also over at this channel, we got another podcast that's also partnered with Minute Media. It's Winning Picks Weekly. John, video producer Greg, and our guy and co-host Chip Murphy. These guys go through every single sport possible, covering college football as it wraps up with bowl season. And you also have
Chip. The chip is in the chip. It's chip season.
It's chip season. That means you got to tune in to Chip. And it's also wrapping up with the NFL regular season, but there are still playoffs on the way. So if you need to know where to put your money down the line because you love sports betting, these guys got you covered. And then last and certainly not least, please make sure to follow us on all social media platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, you name it. We are there. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in for another Jets episode of the Knicks, Jets, etc. podcast. We out.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
JTS Jets. We're on to the draft.